All right, welcome back to Final Cut Pro, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take a look at the Mega Graphics Pack. Now, what is the Mega Graphics Pack? Now, it's what I use to actually create titles, transitions, and a whole bunch of different things inside of Final Cut Pro. Let's switch on over here. So the Final Cut Pro Mega Graphics Pack. Now, 3 or 4 years ago, I purchased this for myself, and the reason is first of all, it would have taken me forever to learn how to make all these different items. I wouldn't have been as good. And this was just cheap and affordable for me to purchase. And I got everything that I needed, actually way more than I actually wanted or needed, in one graphics pack. And I looked at a whole bunch. This is the one I came up with. Now it's been like 3 or 4 years. The author of this actually contacted me. I'm not sure if they realized that I used it or they just wanted me to review it. They had seen one of my other videos on YouTube about Final Cut Pro, so they asked me to review this pack. And the reason I decided to do it was because I actually use this thing, and not something that someone's sending to me and asked me for a review. No, I actually do use this. So what I'm going to do is show you how everything works. You can control or change just about everything. But first, I'm going to show you how to install it. It's a little bit tricky. It's actually easy to do, but the location is weird. I think most people would have a difficult time finding it. Now, the author has videos on how to install and do everything for this pack, but it might be a little bit easier if I just kind of split my screen and show you guys how to do that. All right, so I have downloaded the Final Cut Pro Mega Graphics Pack, and I'm going to show you how to install this into Final Cut Pro to actually use this. Now, you can use this inside of Motion as well, but we're just going to go ahead and stick with Final Cut Pro for right now. So inside of, you got a whole bunch of different files, and then we've got a little MP4 of how to use neon lines, and we've also got some video tutorials. And the video tutorials show you how to use everything and install everything. But I'm going to show you how to install it because it's probably the most complicated part of this whole pack. And the only reason is because it's something that you don't normally do, and it's a really long path to get there. So it helps to open up 2 windows because you can either drag these into the location or you can copy and paste. But if you have to kind of flip back and forth, it makes it difficult. So what we need to do is find Final Cut Pro, which we've got right here. Now you're going to right click Final Cut Pro, and this isn't something that most people do often. To right click on a Mac, if you do not have a right clicking mouse, you're going to hold Control and click. That's the same as a right click. And when you get it, you're going to get something that says Show Package Contents. Now I'll put the path down here in the tutorial as we do this. So we are going to open up Contents, Plugins, Media Providers, Motion Effects, Contents, Resources, Templates. Now here are the locations where we're going to be putting these items. Now the first one we're going to go into is titles because that's what gets the most items. So we're going to open up titles, and you can see titles is going to get neon line, the Final Cut Pro YouTube pack, and typography and other. So those are right here. This one, neon line, Final Cut Pro. You can either copy and paste these by hitting Command C and then coming down here and Command V to paste, or you can just drag them in. Now I've already moved mine, so I don't need to do this. So let me go back one. The next thing that we're going to install is transitions. So inside of transitions, you're going to use the graphic pack transitions. To get that, you're going to go into transition and effects. And right here, you've got graphic pack transitions. Once again, copy and paste or drag and drop into this location. We're going to go back here. The next thing we have is generators. So you're going to open up generators. Inside of generators, you're going to add the gradients. So gradients is located right here. You're going to take gradients, drag and drop it down here, and you're going to be good to go. The last one that we're going to take a look at is effects. So under effects, we have color grading presets. That is also located in transition and effects. So you're going to either drag or drop this down here or copy and paste. The last 2 are light leaks and sound effects. Light leaks and sound effects don't get placed anywhere in here. You're just going to import those into Final Cut Pro, and then you can kind of drag and drop them into your timeline. So there's nothing that you have to load into the program. So we will go ahead and we can close out of this. So to get this to work, you need to make sure that you quit Final Cut Pro, and then all you need to do is come in here and open the program. Once you open the program, all these options are going to be available here. Now that we have everything installed, I've opened up Final Cut Pro, and when you do that, everything is ready to go. Created a new event, new project here, and I've loaded in some files. Up here, we just have some image and some video files. Right here, I have installed the light leaks. So the light leaks are just drag and drop. So you're going to install those. I've imported them in and just for this tutorial, and we can see the different light leaks. So when I click on a light leak, I can go ahead and hit play. We'll run through. Now I have one down here, and we will run through that in just a little bit. Right here, I've installed the different audio files that you get. Now, most of these are just swishes and glitches and sound effects that you can put along with the animated openings. Right here under generators, we have gradients, and they're already loaded into the program, and we've got tons of different gradients. So if you need to use a gradient, they're all right here. There's an absolute ton of them. So go ahead and close generators because we're not going to be using that. So the next thing that we're going to do is take a look at the color grading presets. So color grading presets are located right here. So you click this button and you're going to see color grading presets. So I have a file like this. It's moved over because I was using it for something else in this tutorial that you'll see. Just assume that it's in the right location. All you need to do for these is drag and drop these on your timeline, and it's automatically going to color grade those items. I need to turn this on so it works. So if I wanted this one, I could drag this one over here. It's going to color grade that up. And I can turn these on and off depending on which ones that I want to actually use. So your color grading presets, you just kind of drag over here and drop them. If you need to turn one on or off, you would go to the little film strip. You've got effects, and here are the different color grading effects. I could turn this off. It goes back to normal. If I want to use this one, I could turn that one on. So that's how you use the color grading presets. If you want to use transitions, you're going to come over and click the transitions. Transitions are located right here in the graphic pack transitions. You would just drag a transition over here. So I'll come on over here. I've already dropped the transition in. I'll play this and you can see, bam, just like that, the transition runs. The next thing I did in this timeline is I put a light leak in here. So I just placed this on top. And so we'll run this, and I'm using the light leak as a transition in this effect. And so what I did here, instead of running this normal, I changed this to lighten. So I changed the blending and mode this to lighten instead of normal. So it has a little bit different effect. These are basically just like Photoshop blending modes. So if you've ever used Photoshop blending modes, they're very similar to that. Now, to access the other items, what you're going to do is you're going to come up here to the T, and we're going to click on this. And the first thing that we have selected is the YouTube pack. And so the YouTube pack has a variety of items over here. Anything that you'd want to see, you just want to come up here. You can either scrub through it with your mouse, or you can hit play and it will go ahead and show you what that item is. Now, all of these are optimized to use on YouTube. However, that doesn't mean you can only use them in YouTube. You can use them anywhere. And truthfully, a lot of the other items that are available in here, I actually use in typography and other. I put those in YouTube videos as well. So there's nothing specific that you need to do. So right here, we have the neon line presets. So we'll come up here in the glasses and we'll just go ahead and click that. And so this is something that you can add to any video that you like. So this is an Instagram story. Notice it's vertical because these are made for your phone. Now, if you were to do this, you would need to create a new project, and you want to flip that, make it like a 1080 by 1920. So it's vertical. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and put it in this timeline. What's cool about these is they're really nicely done and they're really cool. So instead of just having a boring kind of little cheap thing that you made on Instagram, these look a whole lot better. So let's go ahead and click on that arrow. We're going to click back here. We're going to get Muscle Man here, and we're going to apply Muscle Man to this. And then we'll go ahead and run this through. And you'll see, yeah, it has a cool little effect for that Instagram story. And now when you look at these, they all look like they're horizontal, and a lot of them look like they're like all askew and messed up. It's just the way the thumbnail works. But when you click on it, you'll actually see, oh no, it is vertical. It does look good. So any of these that you'd want to use, they're really clean, some nice looking ones, and you got a whole bunch to choose from. The last thing that we have here is typography and other, and there are a ton of items in here. And when I get done with this video, I will be deleting a lot of these items. Well, why? Because I don't like everything. Not everybody is going to like everything in this pack. That should be understood. But there are some stuff that I love and there's stuff that I use. And so what I'll do is you'll see, because there are so many items in here that he has available, I'm going to reduce it down to just the items that I like or items that I think I will use. And then if I ever decide that, hey, I wish I still had that, I can easily go back and stick it back in. It's not that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and go back up to the YouTube pack and let's just take a look at one of these items here. So we will come in and hit this, and we're just going to leave it right about there. So down here we have a bottom third. It kind of pops in, lets you know to subscribe to your channel. You can put your network here, and this little circle with the 0 means that you can import an image into that location. And the way this stuff works is we are going to just go ahead and drop this into the timeline real quick, and we'll get that correct and we'll select it. And then as we do that, notice up here in the inspector, we have a whole bunch of different items that are available here. If I click on the first letter of the T, this has got the same arrow there, very easy to figure out. If I want to add an image, I click this, and I've already selected my image, but the way you would select something, we can do something different here, is we're going to go back to this timeline. And in this case, maybe we'll select this dude right here. So I'll select this image. When I select that image by clicking on it, it pops it in over here. I put apply to clip, and now it's located in this section right here. Really, really easy thing to do. Now, right now, it's not his head. So if I want to adjust this so it's his head in the correct position, all I need to do is come down here to pan, and we're going to go to Y, and we'll slide it down so his head's there, and then we'll come over here to X, and we will slide this over to here, and bam, just like that, we've put that image in that little section. Now, the next thing that we have here is what's called build in and build out. Sometimes you'll only see build in, sometimes you'll see both. And what does that mean? So as we come up here, and we'll go ahead and play this through, you'll notice this kind of pops in, runs the thing, and then it slides back out. That is the build in and build out. If you do not have that selected, and we'll go a little bit past this before it, you will see that it will just appear and disappear, but it won't slide in and slide out. So you have the option to do it either way. It's the same effect. It's just one's building in and then building out. The other one just lacks the animation that is available in this one. So go ahead and select that again. So right here, scale, I can change the scale of the image. I can change any of the colors that are available here. So I can change the label scale, anything that you want. You can really manipulate just about everything in here. If you want to change wording, it's really easy. So if I want to replace Iron Network with my name, I can just go ahead, double click that. It's going to bring up the text. I can type my name in it. And just like that, it's replaced my name with that name. I can control the fonts, the font size, the spacing, anything that I want to change here, I can change. If I want to make it three-dimensional text, if I want to change the face, which is the color, you'll just come over here, hit show. Right now it's black. So if I want to change that to this weird purple color, I could change it to that world purple color. If I want it to be green, if I want it to be charcoal gray, anything that I want to change it to, I can change right here, and I can change the opacity and add a little blur to it as well. You can add outline, you can add a glow, you can add a drop shadow. Anything that you'd want to add, this is where you would add it. So we come in here. So this is the second item. So right here under this film strip specter, if you come here, this is going to allow you to adjust and move this item around this way. You can also change the blending mode. So what does that mean? I can come here and I can put this down on the bottom. I could put this up at the top. I can move this left to right. So any direction that I want to go or move this to, I can simply adjust there. So if I want to crop it or I want to distort or change any information there, this is all available. And so those are your options as far as manipulating each one of these items. All right, so obviously that was huge. So let me drag this back in here. And what I'm gonna do is just simply show you how to move something like this and shrink it. The first thing we're gonna do is come over here to the T and click that. You wanna make sure that's selected. And you're gonna see scale. You can open any of these triangles to get into them and further adjust, but we just wanna basically rescale it a little bit. So we're gonna make this a little bit smaller just by sliding that to the left. For those of you who don't know how to do this, I'm going to use something called this scrubber. And instead of manually typing this in, basically I'm going to go in here and kind of hover over and activate that 0. And when I get to it, I'm going to left click and hold, and then I'm going to scroll left to right, and that's going to change the position. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to drag to the left, and that's going to move this image down. And then I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. And I'm going to scroll to the right, and we'll put this right about here. We don't need to come in here and change the text to the color, but if I don't like the color and I wanted to make it a different color, let's say I wanted to make it gray, I can make it gray. If I want to make it purple, I can make it purple. Anything that you would want to do, any of this stuff is available. And look, you've got other color pickers up here. So if you don't like the pencils, you can use this one, you can use this one, you can use this one, and you can use this one. I'm just going to keep this up here because it's the simplest, but any of that stuff you would want to make adjustments to are all right there. We'll slide this back right here. Just like before, the yellow is kind of fading into this, and we obviously want this little guy right here to point here. We can come in here, click on this, and move it any direction or location that we want. So if it's not perfectly pointed, you can move this stuff. What we're gonna do is just scale this down a little bit. So to scale, we'll click the T, we'll come in here, we're gonna scale this down just a little bit. Make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to come over here and we'll just move this up a little bit. And then we'll come over here, and I'm doing the same thing as I did before. I can put this right on him if that makes everybody happy. If I want to make it a little bit bigger now, I can do that. Come back over here and I can slide this back, down. Really easy to move any of that stuff. Remember, you just grab this point. All right, after we've done that, now we've got two issues here. We've got these background colors that are just, they're difficult to read here. So we're gonna come in here and switch. So I've got label color, so I can come to label color, and then I can just simply click on something else that maybe is gonna show up better. So I can go like that and do that. If I wanted to pick a brighter color, I could come pick a color. I don't think that color looks good. I could hit blue, anything that we wanna do. Now, I have changed this to blue, so if I want to change the dot color to blue, I can just come here, I can pick that same color, and then everything's going to match up perfect, and we're ready to go. So now we can just go ahead, run this through again, and that comes in a whole lot better. It's pointing to the person that we want, and we've got this really simple, amazing cutout added to our video. The next thing that we have down are these sidebars, and I've used a couple of these over the years. I really like this one a lot, so I've used both the vertical, the horizontal. We'll just drag this down because it's easier for me to show you what it looks like. These are great. I usually have an image here, and then I have some information here. Just a great graphic that I would never be able to design on my own, and I can put any sort of image or just a simple logo up here. Great little items here. And you can see there's like a million different styles. One of these is going to fit everybody. Here we have a little social media thing to get people to remind you to, hey, subscribe to my channel.